Welcome back, Math 7. Today we are going to continue learning about properties of circle. So first lesson was about constructing circle using geometric tools or any circular tools. But geometric tool is what I recommended, of course. Second lesson was about finding out the circumference, which is the total distance outside edge of a circle. It is a linear measurement, except every path is curved, as you may notice about basic properties of circle, right? Today's lesson involves area. So it is a space that occupying circle. So the page for that, you can find it in textbook page 280 for the detail. First thing first, area. I know we learn about triangle area, parallelogram, those kind of area. Area is basically a two-dimensional space occupied by any geometric shape. So if we think about circle, that means anything inside of the circle. Basically, that's what it is. Now, before we getting into the area formula and then go to a class example, I'm gonna tell you how area of the circle was created. So, I have an area of a circle, center over there. Oh, sorry, a circle, not an area yet. Here's the thing. Imagine you break this into several pieces like pizza. Half of the pizza, or think about it as a pie, like apple pie. Quarter of a pie, and gonna do half of that, and half of that. I know it's not the best cutting of the pie or pizza, but please understand that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Now here's the thing. I am going to take this half and rearrange this bottom half and top half as different shape. You will know what I try to say afterwards. So here's the thing. I'm gonna do, imagine this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am going to put this instead of 1, 3, 5, 7 and 2, 4, 6, 8, which is odd number on the top, even number at the bottom, I'm gonna alternate 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 together. So it will going to be look like this. One side of the pizza. And now when it comes to 2, that will be my second pizza. And imagine you're connecting each of the radius. 3, that's my top pizza. 4, now I'm getting hungry. 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So, although it's not the most pretty one, but you may notice that if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 connecting method, this line and that line become a parallelogram side like this, and you can kind of connect these whole distance at the bottom and this top distance all together. Then you will find that this entire object resemble a parallelogram. And if you think about parallelogram, here's the thing. the distance between the top and the bottom, that's my radius, because that is literally how much is far away from each other. Now, if I look at my width, so length is my radius, my width, this is a little tricky part. If you think about my bottom section, can you see this blue circular distance become my width, right? That means it is half of the circumference. Become my width. So that means if I use my formula that I learned before, pi d is my circumference. So if I just divide by 2 for these guys, it's basically pi d over 2. But if I use radius, this diameter is 2r, right? So you can think it as 2 pi r over 2. Then what you're going to have is 2 and 2 cancel each other, because multiply by 2 divided by 2, they cancel each other. You will have, long story short, pi r. That is my half circumference. Now, that means if I substitute this inside of the width, you will have width is equal to pi r and length as r. So here's the thing. Area of the parallelogram, do you guys remember? It's length times width, right? Or width times length, it doesn't matter. But if I substitute this in, then you have r times pi r. So long story short, this is pi times r as my circle area. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where area of circle came out. Now, like I said, this is how mathematicians figure out the area of a circle. You know, halving the pizza and then connecting each other. Oh, it looked like parallelogram, and then connecting the parallelogram area formula with circle's measurement. But long story short, you don't need to memorize or figure out how these are coming from. What you need to know is this now. A is pi times r times r. Can you see that this r times r are repeated, right? So from now on, whenever that happens, here's what we do. It is tedious to write down every single thing. So scientists and mathematicians decide whenever that multiplication repeat, we're going to use exponent. Which is a fancy way of saying or showing how many times of multiplication is occur. So in your textbook, you will see that area formula is equal to pi r squared. That is area of your circle. However, I understand that it is junior high math 7 class. So if this helps, I'm okay you're undergoing this formula. Instead of pi r squared, 8 is equal to pi times r times r. It means exact same thing. And as you may notice, pi itself is around 3.14 as a value. So you basically need to have radius information, and that's the only thing that is required to find out the area of a circle. Let's do one example, drawing example together, and then next example I'm going to use textbook example like last class. Example, yeah, why not? I'm gonna use a circular object. And I gotta actually measure this radius. 2.5. So I draw one circle and I measure the radius 2.5. Again, if you use coin and other object, your radius will be different, but have that in your mind. So step number 1, write down the clue that you have. I have radius that is given. Sometimes you may have diameter, but in either case, write down whatever the value that is given. R is equal to 2.5 centimeter. Step number 2, formula. Write down the formula, pi r squared, like the one that you see in textbook. Step number 3, substitute. Values. This is very similar as last lesson. And this is a tricky part because when you substitute, you need to go 3.14 times by 2.5 centimeter. One more time, 2.5 centimeter. It is important to include units. Don't forget units. Now, after that, it is your calculator time. Take out your calculator and literally punch those numbers in. 3.14 multiply with, I'm using computer one, so please understand it's out of their sight. 3.14 times 2.5 multiply by 2.5 again, then you will have A is equal to 19.625 centimeter square. Now you may notice that unlike yesterday, you may see that I put exponents in here. Square. There's one reason. The only reason that I'm putting centimeter square as your measurement answer is because the formula have a square. So you have to put little 2 as your subscript on the top as your finalized unit. Of course, if you need to round it up, let's round it up to 2 decimal number because that's the most precise one. Then you go 19.63 centimeters square. That is how much area that this circle can have inside. Let's do example number 2, but this time from a textbook. Please go to page 283. Then you will have example number 2 written on that page. Jason is cutting a circular hole to go ice fishing. If the diameter of the circle is 25 centimeter, what is the area of the circle? Answer to the nearest tenth. This time, I'm gonna use any circle, doesn't really matter. There you go. I have a circle. Diameter is given. That's my center. As 25 centimeter. So, first step, write down the clue. I have one clue is given, diameter is given, 25 centimeter. But you may notice this clue will give you a little error on my second step because look at your formula that you need to use, pi r squared. We need radius. We have diameter. What should I do? Then in that case, here's the thing. From the first step, I can find radius by just divide this diameter by 2. So 25 divided by 2, which gives you 12.5 centimeter. And now from this we know that area is pi r squared. So we can now go to my third step. Area is equal to substitute 3.14 times 12.5 centimeter times 12.5 centimeter. You need to do it twice basically. And then you will punch your number. 3.14 times 12.5 multiplied by 12.5 gives me 490.625 centimeters square. Don't forget the unit. Very, very important. The question says answer to the nearest tenth. So that means I need to keep the first decimal digit. You may notice that 2 is my smaller number, so you can just put that as 490.6 centimeter square. That is my lesson for today. Like yesterday, you will need a lot of calculation. So here's your homework. Homework is textbook, page 285, number 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, and 13. I want you to give it a shot. Circle will play a huge role in your future math course and science course too.